pop out while you wait. We are live, you know that.
Tell everybody hello.
Oh, come on all the way over there. Oh, one more. Come on all the way over. There you go.
That's right.
There you go.
We're good.
We're gonna get
Hello, everybody. It's Danny and Wanda from Deep South Homestead. He's sitting here talking to me, not paying y'all any attention.
Yeah, well, I'm paying attention. Look, I've been sitting here dying laughing at the chat. Sometimes y'all have to go back and read what you write, because if Wanda and I didn't know you, I mean, well, when I say know you, but know that you're animal-loving people, some of the things that you say don't really...
It was kind of funny because Danny read it out loud, and it said, "Gotta go check the girls out. It's cold outside. Be right back," or something.
Yeah.
And Danny goes, "What?" And I said, "Okay, they're calling the girls their chickens." And he goes, "Okay."
Okay. I said, once I understand, they're talking about chickens here now. Man,
it was kind of funny.
It's kind of like a Tim McGraw song, you know?
Yeah, I know. It was kind of funny. And so y'all gonna have to kind of watch how you say stuff sometimes, because somebody would take that wrong.
Yeah.
It was funny. We got people from all over the place.
We've been sitting here looking at people from all over the
Y'all
place.
hit the thumbs up and comment. There's Miss Lake Effect.
Yeah.
Hey. So Brooke and Danny.
Let's see here.
I really thought we'd get to visit with Brooke and Danny by now. You know?
Yeah.
Thought they'd be back through.
You never know.
Hadn't seen them in a long time.
We had a very blessed day, y'all. Thank you for saying that. Actually, we just got home. I just took a bath and eat and ran in here and sat down. We haven't been home long from the new property.
Yeah. We had a track hoe this week.
Yeah.
And a dozer. They finished up. Everything's looking good. Gonna have some video over on Patreon as soon as somebody can have time to edit.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be showing a little bit on YouTube because of the Danny corn. So Monday will be a video showing the new cornfield. Danny's renovating it and all the work that goes into it.
Boy, it has been a job of that new ground over at Pecan Grove, getting it ready. And we were going to put it on Patreon, and I told Wanda,
up on Patreon
it'll go on Patreon tomorrow. But I told Wanda, I said, look, we just might as well put some of this on Deep South, because we will be growing the Danny corn there.
Yeah, we're not growing any here.
No, we're not going to be growing any here. That's right.
So that's why we decided some things, like some gardening, will go on YouTube at times. So we've got to kind of bounce back and forth, I guess, but Patreon sees things almost day to day. They've seen some of the progress already.
Yeah.
I've just got it for Patreon tomorrow. They'll get to see the end process. But Monday would be the beginning to end all. And Danny talking a little bit about Danny corn.
The question was asked as done went by, but how do you store your rabbit poop? We just leave ours in mineral tubs. We have these huge mineral tubs. Now, we don't put the lid on them. We just leave the lid off of them, and we leave them sitting in the barn in the mineral tubs.
But now you do have that tray, that screen that catches the poop, and the water goes down. So Danny's poop is not wet.
Mine's not wet. It's dry. And we leave it sitting in the barn, and then when it comes time for gardening, we sift it and get out any debris out of it or anything like that that's in it. And then we just take it and we just put it right up down the middle of the row before we plant. I mean, just like fertilize.
Now, Larry from Deep South Texas said his red rippers are already up. He is way ahead of us. He's one of the few people that's anybody in Florida and Deep South Texas are ahead of us in some things. And Larry's already planting red rippers.
Our piece of Texas says they made me turn off my restrictions to watch y'all. It's crazy. Well, I guess maybe we're not PG. I don't know.
Can you recommend a walk-behind corn seeder?
We use, for our walk-behind, when we have the Hoss tool seeder, and it works fantastic. Now, Earthway makes one that does fairly good, but I've had problems with the corn seed getting stuck in it. Hoss tool has worked better than the corn seeder did. Than the Earthway did.
Should I wait until after I'm not sure what you're supposed to be, Dog Mama. I'm not sure what you're asking, so ask again. They say they love what closed caption does to Danny's accent. Oh, we have watched that sometimes, and it
is amazing.
It's crazy what comes out of our mouths through AI.
Where is a good place to order chickens? We order from, when we do order, Mount Hatcheries is where we order from. They've
Mount
Hatchery. That's Mount Hatchery.
Mount Hatchery.
Yeah, Mount Hatchery. They've treated us really fair. When we had some turkeys that didn't make it, I mean, they went in, you know, they made it all good. They didn't have any problems.
Okay, Saffron Bay wants to know, what are red rippers?
Red rippers are the best southern field pea you'll ever eat. I mean, they get like 16 inches long, and they got big old giant peas in them. And when you boil them, they really, to me, now it may not be to everybody, but to me, they have a taste like a peanut.
Yes. And Miss Lippy's putting up our red rippers where we planted them. They took over the whole field.
Oh yeah.
We gave peas away. We sold seeds. Mr. Larry at Deep South Texas had gotten some seeds from a company, and he had gotten red ripper seeds, but they weren't red ripper.
They weren't red ripper.
You could look at the pea and tell it wasn't. So we sent him some last year to try, so that he should have a true red ripper pea.
Dog Mom says, should I wait till after the full moon to plant potatoes in grow bags? Yes, you want to plant your potatoes, give it at least 24 to 36 hours after the moon is full in order to plant. Because you want to plant on the waning of the moon root crops.
Have we planted a black cherry tree?
We have black cherries here already, but they're wild. A regular cherry, a black cherry, will not grow here and do very well.
Miss Lippy put up, what is a red ripper pea? She put up the video. I'd forgotten we'd done one called What is a Red Ripper Pea, so she's doing that.
Do we have any apricots growing in containers? We did have, and we just moved the one we had growing in the container over to Pecan Grove and actually put it out in the ground over there.
I've got to do that video too for over there where we put out trees.
Yeah.
And we've got more to go. We just got some done.
When would be a good time to plant Cherokee Tan in Zone 7? Look, anytime. Cherokee Tan is frost sensitive. Just whenever after your last frost date is a good time. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. They're not going to produce until it gets to be a certain temperature of heat. We have learned that the hard way here. We don't even try to plant ours real early because we know they're not going to make anything.
Now, Joe Mama wants to know, what do I use to fertilize my strawberries?
We fertilize our beds before we ever plant them.
But I mean, what's that liquid stuff that we use? Liquid
phosphorus?
No, the golden bloom.
Golden
Golden
bloom.
Bloom from Dr. Earth.
Yeah, from Dr. Earth. We use that, and that's a little expensive if you go to buy it like we do in a 5-gallon container. But you have to think about 5 gallons has lasted us. 3 to 4 years? This will be the 4th year.
Yeah, we still got a little left.
We still got a little left for the 4th year. Now, we also have purchased some powdered phosphorus. We mix with water and use it also. But we've learned with strawberries are a serious root crop. Even though they make strawberries on top of the ground, their root system is very, very important to the production of the strawberries. So we put the phosphorus into the ground. We also use a good bit of nitrogen in the soil before we do our beds in order, and then you got to have plenty of water. Strawberries just got to have plenty of water.
Miss Carolyn Smith said she's clearing land, some property in Georgia, and found a huge pecan tree. That is why you do not just straight clear land.
Right.
You'll see what you have, and if you don't know, don't cut it down till you do.
Be careful around the pecan tree when you're clearing, not to damage the surface roots of the pecan trees, because it will slow them down.
Ty Scott said, thanks for the epic smokehouse series. He's starting to build one soon.
All right. I'll tell you what, we have thoroughly enjoyed our smokehouse.
And we've had a lot of people copy ours and then improve on it.
Yeah, they've actually, people have improved on it. And I mean, man, some of them.
They have done a really good job.
Yeah, they've done a really good job. And we've actually, you know.
We did video, showed pictures of theirs too.
We showed pictures of theirs.
Live stream. Yeah. Where do you get your blood meal and bone meal?
I just pick it up at Walmart whenever we happen to, once in a blue moon when we go to Walmart. And I walk through there. If it's there, I stock up on it. I buy lots of bags of it. Because around here, the only place we really have is Tractor Supply. And it's a new place that's been moved in. And they're expensive.
All right. Now, somebody asked, is it Mount Healthy Hatchery?
Mount Hatchery in Ohio. They don't say Mount Healthy. Is it?
No, somebody up on another. Oh. Is it Mount Healthy?
Yes, Mount Healthy Hatchery.
And then somebody's asking, is it in Ohio, and should they be worried before they order? I hadn't thought about it. Is it in Ohio?
I don't know.
That was before all this happened.
That was before all this happened. Yeah, we
ordered almost 2 years ago.
It's been about 2 years since we ordered. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
So it was way before any chemical situation. Where do you guys? Oh, we answered that. The scammer is back on your video again. Yes, y'all do not go to anything that says you won something because you hadn't. I hadn't done a video telling who won the grow lights yet.
Right.
And so we're going to be doing, if you get something in the chat, not chat, in the comments, it is not us. We are not on
Telegram.
Telegram.
Is 20-20-20 a good fertilizer for all veggies? It's a good fertilizer once the veggies get up and growing. You never want to use a fertilizer when you plant your vegetables right off the bat that's high in nitrogen. You want to use something like 8-24-24, something that's very low in nitrogen up front. But once it gets growing, then 20-20-20 is fine.
Is fish emulsion good for strawberries?
Yes, fish emulsion is good for strawberries. It's good for new plants. It's really good around squash. We have learned that using the liquid phosphorus around our squash has helped us control the squash bugs.
When is the best time to start fertilizing the pineapple tree? We actually have a little baby pineapple.
We don't over fertilize any of our pineapples. I'll be honest with you. We keep the fertilization to a minimal. We just make sure the soil's good and rich, keeps plenty of moisture.
People want to see your shirt too.
Oh, believe in Jesus and the Second Amendment
and fried fish. How often do you harvest bananas in the Deep South? We hadn't yet.
We actually, every time we get our bananas right to the point where we're ready to harvest them, we get a freak freeze or something other happens and it just messes up.
Can I plant oranges in March or February?
Yeah.
Orange trees, yes.
Yeah, you can plant orange trees in March. Let's see here.
Let's see. They're saying orange seeds. You're going to have a long time if you're planting seeds.
If you're planting orange seeds, you probably won't get an orange tree. You'll get something else.
Yeah. Some of them are hybrids.
Most of the orange trees are grafted. You're liable to get anything.
Besides garlic and honey, what is good for sickness? Turmeric, ginger. According to what sickness
Depends on what kind of sickness you're talking about.
Okay. Let's see. Now let me get back. They said they like your shirt.
242 Mama says, I don't fertilize my pineapples either. We'll give our pineapples once in a great moon. I mean, a little bit of a miracle grow. I'll just go in and pour a little bit around them every so often, maybe once a month or something like that. But I really just, they're in good soil, lots of worms in the soil and stuff like that. And we just, because you're going to dig them up and you're going to move them anyway. Once they make a pineapple, you're going to take the plant out. So we don't really worry about it too much.
Do you have a water catchment system? We actually have two.
We actually have two of them. We have one on the shed for our small greenhouse, and we have one on the cabin.
Will it be a lemon or a nasty fruit? Who knows?
Who knows what it'll be?
Whatever they had a lot of that they wanted to graft onto. Whatever was producing well and made a good tree for them or stick for them to do. Colloidal silver is good. We have videos on colloidal silver.
Mr. Danny, what size tiller do you have on your tractor? I have a 5-foot tiller on my tractor.
And one of the best pieces of
equipment I've ever invested in my life.
Well, one of them. You got a bunch. Where is the best place to get seed potatoes for the South?
We just get our seed potatoes at our local feed stores. I mean, we don't go online and buy any. Now, Hall's Tool is a really good place.
We got some from them. They sent us some to try several years, and they always did really, really well for us.
They done very, very good for us.
But this year we needed potatoes, and our local feed store had them, and we bought them.
Yeah.
Plus, we saved some.
We're at a point now, since we have a cooler, a walk-in cooler, we save all of our own seed potatoes now.
Jackie said, please offer up prayers for her 71-year-old husband who was severely injured by a dead tree falling on him. He is struggling since February 1st. Broken vertebral ribs and severe blood loss. Yes, that is what bothers me where we're at. Yep. Watching Danny moving stuff, we have to be very careful.
Very careful.
And most of the dead snags, we had the track hoe take them down.
Yeah.
So that we didn't have to worry. What's best for getting ahead of white flies before they get on a lemon tree?
I don't know if there's no such thing as getting ahead of them. You just have to deal with them when they happen.
Gonna try to disc our Kogon over and over. Think that will work.
I have tried it and with no luck. The only thing we found that works on Kogon is 2 different things. One is pure salt. It will kill it, but it also, nothing will grow back there. And second is Roundup with Miracle Grow mixed in with it. That's the only 2 things we have found that actually gets rid of it.
Thank you, 242 Mama. I am going to get one of the greenhouses from your link. I am in zone 10A. Would you recommend the shade cloth?
Yes, we recommend the shade cloth. You're in zone 10A. Make sure you get the 40% shade cloth to go over it.
How are we liking the
Get the black shade cloth, not
the black one.
Not the white one.
How are we liking the new grow lights? We haven't used them yet. We've got plenty of sunshine.
We're getting plenty of sunshine. They ain't
it's
no
too
shortage.
hot. What was it, 80 something?
It was
today?
84 today.
Yeah.
That's just the temperature. I don't know what the heat index was. That was the temperature.
It was a little bit overcast, but we have a lot of sun rays coming in, and so we don't have to use grow lights till it's dark.
Dark, yeah.
And so we hadn't really used them yet. It's been pretty good.
Have y'all ever used bat houses? Strangest thing you should say that. During the middle of the day today, in 80-something degree temperature, we had a bat flying around while I was working on the pond over at the new property. There was a bat in the middle of the day in 84-degree temperature out flying around, dipping down around the pond. I mean, he was just, I showed it to Wanda. I said, can you believe this? A bat in the middle of the day flying around.
Yeah, somebody's asking, what are we seed starting as of late? I'm going to do a seed starting video sometime this next week for some things that I want to start. But so far, the only thing is your sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
He's got slips up on white sweet potatoes, but you hadn't seen any of the others.
I hadn't seen any of the others. I hadn't dug into them and checked them yet.
Yeah, we're going to do a video on our sweet potatoes, the slips, but we do have white sweet potato slips up. I sowed directly into my greenhouse. I didn't start plants or anything, but I've got a few things I want to put over at the new property, so I'm going to seed start some of those. So we really hadn't done anything yet. What should I spray fungicide? When should I spray fungicide?
My fruit trees after the flowers start turning into fruit or before the flowers open? Thank you. I don't know because we don't spray any fungicides on any of our fruit trees. So I don't actually know. It's whatever the recommendation of the fungicide you're using is, I suppose. We don't use chemicals on any of our fruit trees, so I can't really answer that because I don't know what chemical you're talking about.
Won't the pineapple plants produce more pups? Why is it necessary to start over?
Yes, they produce pups, but you pull the pups off of them and you have to reroot them and get them started again.
We have a few that have made pineapples that he's left in there to make pulps.
Yeah.
Because we're starting a pineapple farm, right?
Yeah, we got about 50 pineapple plants right now.
We've got to decide where we're fixing to plant pineapples, y'all. But
Yeah.
I am excited. LG wants to know, did the bat have rabies?
I have no idea.
We didn't stop him.
I didn't stop him and ask him. He was just flying around aimlessly everywhere and all down in the. He would dip in the pond every so often, and it's just muddy water right now. It's filling back up. I mean, he'd just get him a sip of water every so often, and then he'd fly around. And I thought it was kind of strange to be out in the middle of the day.
Tracy's asked, and I thought measles was a thing of the past. In Kentucky, they have a child with it that went to a church service.
Measles never went away. Measles are always here. It's just that when someone has measles, they're supposed to check in with their county health department so they can track them.
And keep them quarantined.
And they quarantine them, yes.
It's just that they gave those shots years ago, and they still give a shot, hoping to keep it under control. That's the deal with the measles. But yeah, people still get them. Kids still get them off and on.
Danny, what do you think the white powder was that blanketed West Virginia and other states? Well, I could go into detail about that. It's not what you think, probably. It is from things entering our space above our Earth right here. And as they come into our space, they're being burnt up, and it's actually ash from that, is my understanding, as to what's actually falling in Virginia up there.
Okay, Miss Verna asked that we pray for her great-grandson. He's 5 years old, and he's fixing to have a second heart surgery.
Oh, bless his heart.
Let's see.
Oh.
Do you have asparagus planted? This will be my first year.
Yes, we keep asparagus planted. We had 2 beds of it, or one of them. We had an overflow on the pond, and it washed one of them away. Her best asparagus bed got washed away.
We have some in Danny's greenhouse.
We got some in my greenhouse. We have some over by the cabin.
And we're fixing to put some at the new property.
Yes, we're going to put some at
Can I buy Danny corn seeds, please? No.
No, we don't have any for sale. We're sold out. Won't have any more till this coming fall, we hope.
Is there any 5 acres of land for sale in the Deep South? I'm sure there is.
There's plenty of land for sale everywhere. It's just when you're
going
to buy 5 acres, though, I'm going to tell you, you better look for covenants and restrictions for that small of an acreage.
And Kogon.
And Kogon grass.
Almost everywhere we go, we see Kogon. Lots of people will keep it mowed. And then when you start to try to plant something, you realize you've got it and you can't really grow in it.
And how much is the price per acre in the Deep South? It depends on where you're buying at. It can be anywhere between $3,000 an acre up to $10,000 an acre. Just depends on where you buy. It's all about location.
Are you sure it was a bat and not a
Oh no, it was a bat.
It was a
bat. I know. I looked at him. He flew right in front of me. I seen him perfectly. It was a bat. He had a light brownish colored body on him. He wasn't black. He was a light brownish color.
All right. What do we do with the excess of things we can't eat?
We don't have any excess of what we can't eat, and if we do, it usually goes to feed the animals.
Or family that stops by.
Yeah.
And this year we've taken on a couple of elderly people that we're going to be helping.
Yeah.
And so that way, any excess we have is going to be going somewhere.
Yeah,
we don't waste anything.
We don't know. Nothing gets wasted here. Nothing.
Pigs, cows, chickens, somebody will eat it.
Do Meyer lemons need a pollinator? Javon, we don't have a pollinator for ours, and ours makes lemons every year.
Let's see. Land is way overpriced. Yes, especially in Mississippi.
I agree with that. Land is way overpriced.
They wanted to know you didn't think it was a balloon, the bat.
Oh no.
It was a China bat. It probably was.
It was probably scoping out the place,
so it could know what we're growing.
So it could know what we're growing and what we're doing.
And it could tell other people so they can grow the same thing.
The only thing is it was just only over the pond.
Yeah.
Am I going to turkey hunt at Pecan Grove? Actually, My neighbors have told me that there's some turkeys around there. I personally have not seen any yet. I did see a deer yesterday, um, but other than that, I don't know. It just depends on whether we have any or not.
Hills Mill says 30 to 50,000 an acre in his area. This country's filling up.
No, 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 no.
I hesitate at 10,000.
Yeah, well, I hesitated at 5.
How is the name of
that bad grass spell? COGON.
How far from cedar trees can you plant potatoes?
I don't know. Our potatoes, we've never had a problem. Because we got cedar trees right here in the front, and we planted right by them.
Yeah, and where we planted potatoes over yonder, there's a cedar tree.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's off to the side. And there may be one on this side. I don't really know on the driveway. It could be.
Yeah.
Can I put okra seed in the ground tomorrow in 9B, 5 miles from the Gulf?
In 9B tomorrow, yeah, you probably could.
The spy bat on Pond Recon.
That's it. Can't find you on YouTube. TV channel, go figure. Huh.
Glad I had options. I have options. A drone disguised as a bat, a spy bat. That's pretty good.
Pastor says 3,500 to 10,000 here in central Alabama per acre also.
Wow.
What am I looking at? Oh, it's a hair hanging down. Okay, something kept.
You're going.
Yeah, I kept reaching up for something that really wasn't there.
Oh, let's see. Do you vaccinate your chickens from?
No, we don't vaccinate nothing. I do not believe in vaccines, period, for animals, people, or anything.
Unless it's something that is very specific and that there's no other way.
Yeah.
How do you protect your citrus trees from freezing in the winter?
We move them inside our barn and cover them up with a tarp inside the barn.
We've actually, our pomelo.
Yeah, our pomelo is blooming, and we got to get it out of the barn.
We got to get it out, or we ain't gonna have. I'm hoping some flies or bees or something finds it.
Will we be using bone sauce this year? Oh yeah.
Along with an 8-foot fence, probably.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna be doing everything we can for Danny Corn this year. Could have been a fruit bat. They come out during the day.
It may have been. I don't know. I mean, he was just a light brown colored body on him because he flew right in front of my face. I mean, he was right close to me.
Miss Lippy thinks these are pretty good sayings. These people coming up with. It's a drone hair, Danny. It's scoping you out.
It's checking me out. Let's see here. Southwest Texas average land price is $20,000 an acre. You can thank the Californians for that.
Let's see. Cindy at Simply Backwoods said, glad to be here. It's kind of late. How do you save potato seeds?
We don't save the seeds off of potatoes because it's really useless to plant the seeds. It takes years to get a potato, and then you don't know if it's going to be any good. We just save our seed potatoes themselves.
The potato themselves.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see where I saw it.
So all your citruses is in containers. At this point, not all of them are. About half of them's in containers and half of them's in the ground. Now we have had a severe bite back on them this year from the freeze. I've scoped them out and looked. We lost one kumquat.
Yeah.
But our Louisiana orange tree got bit back pretty good, but it didn't kill it. It bit it back pretty good.
And we had them covered, both of them.
They were covered good.
Somebody's asking about Billy's comfrey. Is it the kind that spreads? I think so. Because when he plants some, then it keeps growing, so he can pull it up and divide it up. Wouldn't you think that means?
I don't know which one he has. I don't know if it's block 4 or block 15 or I don't remember.
We have some of both.
We have both of them here.
But I'm not sure. You'll have to look on his website. Maybe he tells.
Can I plant the red seedless grapes in the same area as my scuppernongs? I would not, because they will cross-pollinate.
How do gamma rays affect the something exchange capacity in the soil. Ration exchange, maybe?
Vacation. What happens with the gamma rays in the soil is the gamma rays, they force the microbes from being deep in the soil up to the surface where they're actually no good at all. And then they stunt the root growth on the plants to the point where the plant, when it's growing, will actually take off and it'll look really, really good. But when it gets to be a full-grown plant and it's really needing the roots spread out there to be able to take up lots of nutrients and lots of moisture, especially in a drought time, the plant will just wilt and die. It won't perform.
How do people afford everything?
You don't afford everything. I mean, the only way you can afford anything is you've got to be out of debt and you've got to save. I mean, that's
and then you buy it one at a time as you have money.
Yeah,
That's what we do.
As you save up, you purchase.
All right, they're saying Billy has number 4.
Okay, he has block 4 then. Block 4 doesn't come back from seeds, if I'm correct. Block 4 only comes back from the root.
Yeah. Yeah, we have some of both kinds. So.
Yeah, we have both of them.
All right, where did you purchase your greenhouse and was it expensive?
We purchased ours from Grower Solutions. We have a link in the description down below. And it depends on what you're calling expensive. It was cheaper than going through Farm Tech or any of these other places that we looked at because some of it was going to cost us an ungodly amount of money. And we went and talked to Tyler and them up at Grower Solutions, and we was able to sit down with them and actually build our greenhouse the way we wanted it. And for the amount of money that we paid, we feel like that it was a pretty good deal. Now it may be expensive to some people, I don't know.
Yeah.
But now when you look at our high tunnels,
we bought wood.
We bought all. That's our design. The only thing we come from Grower Solution was the metal, the plastic to cover it, all the hardware, the roll-up sides, and the shade cloth. And the shade cloth really didn't come from Grower Solutions. Grower Solutions ordered it from another company.
Yeah.
And the fans came from Grower Solutions and stuff like that. But all the rest of it is our own personal design. We bought lumber locally here and built it all ourselves.
All right. What do you think about the Back to Eden gardening? We tried it.
We've tried Back to Eden in the South. It just didn't work for us. We went back to conventional type, the way our forefathers done it, and it's worked better for us.
What do you think? Oh, that's the same person, I guess, asked the same question. When will you put sweet potato slips in the ground?
Probably once I know there's not going to be any more frost, which will probably be mid-March. Now, we have had snow in April here before, but it's very, very rare. Only once in my life in 60-something years have I seen that. So I would say probably mid-March, mid to end of March.
What kind of peas do you plant? I know you've mentioned before, but I can't remember.
We plant lots of different kinds of field peas, southern field peas now. We plant red rippers, we plant pink-eyed purple hulls, we planted black-eyed peas.
Crowders.
We've planted crowders.
Lady peas.
Yep, lady peas. Mississippi purple hulls. I mean, we planted an array of different kinds of it. It just all depends on what your taste is. Now, we planted the pink-eyed purple hulls. There's top pick, and then there's regular pink-eyed purple hulls.
But we also plant green peas, which is English peas.
Yeah, we plant English peas for springtime.
Okay. When can I transplant a fig tree and a blueberry tree?
Now. Now is the time to do it.
All right. I just jumped ahead because I was a little behind.
Danny, I'm looking to buy a small farm, but I'm nervous because I assume they've used harsh chemicals and Grazon. Is there a way to heal damaged soil? If it's been sprayed with Grazon, you can use a monocot, and it usually takes about 2 to 3 years to pull everything out of the soil. And a monocot would be grass or corn or something like that, and it'll usually pull it out of the soil. But if you don't do anything to it, just leave it laying, Grazon can last up to 10 years in the soil if you do nothing. So I would suggest really growing some grass and really looking into putting some corn in there.
JT West says, my graph took, Danny.
Well, JT, don't get too happy too quick, my friend, because I've had them grafts come on and put leaves on them, and then when the heat of the summer comes, they just wilt and die because they really didn't have enough substance. So I'm praying
baby them for a while.
Baby them jokers. I'm telling you, baby them. Because them buds will pop out on them and them little leaves will start going. And I'm telling you, baby that joker.
Yeah. Our plants and trees lulled into a false sense of weather change. We've got blossoms everywhere.
That happens quite often here, especially in the early spring. We'll have what's called an Indian summer or something other like we've had now in February, where it's 84 degrees, everything's blooming out. We've got little fruit popping out on everything, and inevitably Easter will come and we'll get a little cool snap, and sometimes it damages a lot of the stuff, but some years we have nothing. I mean, it's just a gamble.
Why did you buy new property?
Because 10 acres is not enough to be completely self-sustaining on here when you're trying to raise everything. Like cows, 10 acres is not enough room to have cows and raise corn for them and raise hay for them and stuff like that. We needed more acreage to be able to do all that.
And the new property, like we said, we've already got the cornfield going. It's not as big as the original cornfield that was there. I wouldn't let him take
Wanda
all
wouldn't
the
let me take
pine
out
trees down.
Well, the original cornfield has lots of pecan trees come up in it, and we did.
And lots of pine trees.
We had to make an executive decision here to say we're going to leave a lot of the pecan trees, we're going to leave a few of the pine trees in there, and if we have to plant corn, there's plenty of other land in other places that we can plant corn if we need to.
So the cornfield is really long. We took out, 8 trees?
Yeah, we took out 8 big pines.
Yeah, we took out 8 trees, so it is nearly twice as long as it was.
Yeah, it's a lot wider than it was.
And a lot wider because he took all the bushes on the sides that were junk bushes.
Yeah.
And so we have a place, the whole 20 acres of it can be renovated back into hayfields. It's partial hayfields now.
Yeah, we're working on.
Some of the trees have gotten overgrown and let grow up, and they're taking over the hayfield, I guess you'd say. Plus, there's a lot of pecan trees in there, and he ain't taking down no pecan trees.
I ain't taking no pecan trees down for hay. How do you test for grazon in the soil? The best thing to do is to take some of that soil and put it in a pot and get you some green beans seeds and plant in that pot and watch them to see when they grow up. Do the leaves try to curl up on it? Does the plant get up looking real pretty and then just die? Or does the plant just get up and start growing good and die right off the bat? I mean, that's the best way to do it.
When did you say when to plant potatoes again? They're kind of
on the waning of the moon, at least 24 to 36 hours after the full moon.
All right. You can make money on pecans you don't eat and feed the animals as well.
Yes. Actually, pigs that's been fattened on pecans is some of the most expensive pork you can buy. Cows love to eat them. Turkeys love to eat pecans. I mean, deer eat pecans. I mean, rabbits, squirrels, coons, possums, I mean, everything eats pecans because they're so nutritious and loaded with fat. So, the good fat. So, yeah, it's really a good.
How much land do you need for 2 baby goats? Well, them baby goats grow up to be big goats.
Yeah, the 2 baby ones get to be big old huge goats. So, I would say probably an acre for 2 goats would probably be enough.
Diane says on 2/28 she's leaving California. No looking back.
Have you heard about shots being required for livestock which contain the RMNA component? Yes, I have. I have heard that the you know what is going to be put into meat. It's going to be put into vegetables. It's going to be put into anything they can find to get it in. And they've already experimented with it in Australia. And most of the cows that was experimented with died right off the bat, and yet they're still doing it anyway.
All right, can you grow peas or bush beans in green stalks? Yes, you can.
Yes.
You just don't want to do a vining something unless, I mean, they do make supports, but anything that vines a lot, you really don't. You want bushy stuff in your green stalks.
Do I need 2 trees to pollinate Chickasaw plums? I don't know. Most plums are self-pollinating, but you always get a better crop if you put 2 different varieties. I mean, even though we buy one that, like the methley plum, we plant the methleys here, it says it's self-pollinating, but we usually try to put another plum or we graft another plum onto one of the limbs into it just to make sure that there's another pollinator there.
Tracy wants to know, do we ever plant peanuts? Yes,
yep.
We planted 2 different kinds. We haven't in
several years because
years.
we still have so many of them canned.
Yeah. Why do Meyer lemons drop their blooms instead of making fruit?
It sounds like a nutritional deficiency. Sounds like you're missing something nutritionally in the plant for it to do that.
The war we are funding, is this over new land for Jerusalem wanted in this country?
No. No, this has, guys, I can't go into that right now, but what you're watching and that going on is not what you think. Let me put it that way. You're going to be shocked here and probably in the next several months as to what you're going to see happen.
All right. Our piece of Texas says Texas is closed. Laugh out not loud. In other words, ain't one. That's what Dan says about Mississippi.
I say that about Mississippi. Mississippi's the worst place in the world to live. I mean, we don't want nobody here. I mean, but I do feel for the people in Houston, Texas down there because they've taken these chemicals from Ohio. Not all of them. Some of them went to Detroit, but I mean, they're taking a lot of them down there to Texas, and they're putting it in Texas. And I feel for the people in Texas. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I would be having a duck fit.
All right, the I Am of Me wants to know how Jen from the Nut House is doing since she moved.
Last we heard, Jim
Mike had surgery.
Mike had had surgery. Jim was fine, but Mike had some surgery. So
And I'm not really sure past that. What channel speaks of coming off of synthetic medicine?
Rain Country.
Rain Country.
Rain Country. Heidi and Patrick from Rain Country are really, really good people to listen to. My plum has bloomed for 3 years and I still haven't had any fruit. Well, you must need a pollinator then, or you have nothing to pollinate it.
Will your potatoes make all right with the freeze?
We've already had to cut the tops off of them one time because we had the most beautiful potato plants up about 1 foot tall.
They were gorgeous.
They were gorgeous. And we had it got down to 25 degrees one morning, and I went over and looked, and the top half of the plant was burnt. And Wanda,
went on and went to work.
I went on and went to work
and was doing stuff.
And Wanda and Patty, our
daughter-in-law,
went through with scissors and just cut the top half of those plants off. And I looked at them today, and they're busting it coming back out.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
So, and the red potatoes we planted hadn't popped the ground yet.
No, some of them have. But
are they starting?
I've seen a couple of green patches.
Okay,
yeah.
So they're getting there.
Danny and Wanda, I lived in Gulfport for 2 years and it was a bad experience. I don't doubt it. I live within 30 minutes of Gulfport, and my daughter lives in Gulfport. I don't even go down there. I mean, I despise that place. To me, it's like Las Vegas. It's just Sin City.
He only goes if he has to.
And I'm gonna have to this coming week because we got taxes, but
he's not happy about that.
I am not happy about that. No, I'm not happy about that.
Number one, we got to go file taxes, and number two, it's in Gulfport.
It's in Gulfport. There's 2 things against us. First, I hate taxes. I think it's illegal to have to pay taxes. I think it's against the law. But at the same time, I got to go to Gulfport too. So.
Do you have a generator, or do you have dry and canned foods only to worry about?
No, we have a generator. We have a generator that will run our house, but
we also have dried foods, canned foods, dehydrated foods,
freeze-dried
foods. I mean, we've got a little of it all.
We got a little bit of all of it, yeah.
We don't depend on our freezers.
No, we don't. That's one thing we definitely don't depend on.
Do we use ground covers when it's cold? You mean row covers?
Row covers, not ground cover and row cover are two different things. We use row cover. We used it on our cabbage this year to keep them from freezing.
Let's see.
Can you talk about what you believe will happen with the dollar? I can't do it here. I do believe at some point it's going to collapse. I will say that, and I don't think it's that far away.
Why don't we use ground cover material? We do in places.
We do use it in the gardens in places.
But we don't use it everywhere.
No.
We garden too much to lay down row cover on everything. Danny can plow it with a tractor so much easier than us trying to put ground cover. We tried it in different gardens, and we've tried the whole garden. We've tried just rows. It makes more sense for us with just ground cover where we need it.
Do you know a good preacher that explains the whole Bible?
Where'd it go?
You jumped the chat by moving it. I was trying to read it. Who explains the whole Bible thoroughly. Well, there's one of them on here tonight watching called Prep for Eternity, Mr. Donnie. And then, oh, man. I don't usually recommend many pastors because many of them don't teach the whole truth. Let me say it that way. You know, I usually just don't recommend pastors.
Yeah, but
I mean, I know Brother Donnie. I've listened to him many times. I've met him personally, him and his wife.
I don't think he's preaching an agenda. Put it that way.
I don't think Brother Donnie has an agenda when he goes to present.
Well, he does. He wants to see people in heaven.
Well, he wants to see people get saved. I do agree with that. But
that's his agenda.
I don't think he's going to tickle your ears. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, that would be a good way to put it.
Yeah.
When the dollar collapses, how will we pay taxes? You'll still be able to pay everything.
They will figure out a way for you to pay taxes. It'll be a digital currency more than likely, and it'll be to be deducted from your income.
Okay. Do you think the end of the moon cycles is close?
No, the moon's going to continue to cycle. I mean, the Bible tells us that, you know, seed time, harvest, summer, winter, you're going to have all that. It tells us in Genesis you're going to have all that for, you know, till Christ comes back or till the end of the world. It just doesn't tell you that you're going to have it everywhere all the time. That's where a lot of people get this misconception of the scriptures, is that they think, oh, we're going to always be able to plant. No, it doesn't say that. It says that you'll just have it. Somewhere on the face of the earth, people will be able to grow something. It just doesn't mean it'll always be everywhere all the time.
Do we have solar panels on our home?
Not on our home, we don't. We have them at our cabin because it's off-grid, but we don't have them on our home. At my age and the cost of putting them on here, it just couldn't work out financially.
And they're listing all kinds of pastors, and y'all can check them out if you want to.
Yeah.
Like Danny said, we just don't recommend most pastors.
Yeah, I don't recommend most pastors because the problem is I know too much about most of them.
All right, let's see where we're going. Get out of the pastor thing, because most of them I don't care about. I have a tiny garden. Is distilled water good? I have city water, not well water.
Distilled water, one thing you need to understand about distilled water has absolutely zero nutrients in it of any kind. Now
it's been taken out, everything.
Everything is taken out of distilled water. Now it is pure because there's nothing in it that's beneficial for anything. But I will agree with you in saying that distilled water, if you can afford enough distilled water to water a garden, it's better than chlorinated water. I will give you that credit for that, yes.
The banks are now asking what you need your money for and are limiting how much you can withdraw. Ours has been doing that.
We have had the bank actually personally call us and want to know what we do for a living. And
then call back and asked again because they didn't understand what we were saying. And
basically, it's none of their business.
And I've had several times I've went in to cash a check, and I have to wait on them to approve the check. And one time they didn't want to cash the check. They wanted me to wait days before they would cash it.
No, they wanted to dibble it out to us
$2,000
$2,000 at a time, and I said no. No, I will not do that. No.
I said, I'll come back. And I went back the next day and I went and seen somebody I knew and I said, hey, can you cash this check? And she said, yeah. Boom. So it's all who you know. But banks have been doing this. They did ask us a couple of times about when we withdraw some money about what we were buying and
what were you buying with it. Now it's almost none of your business.
Yeah. I mean they're getting very.
They're getting very, and terrorism is a reason for that.
Yes. Oh, and that's the word they don't talk about anymore.
Yeah, terror. You're gonna find out in the United States that's a word that nobody talks about anymore.
You know how they used to all the time.
Yet it's very active in this country right now. As a matter of fact, it's probably why we had the chemical spill and why we've had the burnings. And remember, I told you guys you're gonna see a lot of burning this year. You're gonna see a lot of fires this year. I think my whatever you want to call it has already come to fruition. I think I've proven that I was exactly accurate about that, and it ain't. And you haven't seen the worst of it yet.
All right, poppy seeds, it is prepping. Prepping. Prepping for eternity.
Yeah, Pastor Donnie was on here tonight.
Miss Lippy can probably put a link up for you.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think of the mark of the beast, and do you still think it is near?
Yes, I think the mark of the beast is very near. I'm not going to go into details about it, but I do believe it's very near because there's so many different opinions on it that it would be ludicrous for me to sit here tonight and try to go in. I don't mind talking to people one-on-one about it, but when you start talking to the thousands and thousands of people about it, people have numerous different opinions. And hey, it's not to say that anybody's really wrong. It's just that it depends on what your level of spirituality is and what your level of discernment is as far as the Holy Spirit and what it's revealed to you.
Do you have a creek running through your farm and you can have free electricity? I'm hooking mine up.
Yes, we have water running through our farm. Yes, we do.
What is the latest I can plant sweet potatoes? I'm still waiting to get them from the Ag Center to make my slips.
You can plant sweet potato slips anytime during the summer as long as you have around 100 to 125 days before the first frost.
Well, they're wanting to know, is it beneficial in Texas to put a water well after what happened, I guess, in Ohio?
But it depends on where you live at in Texas. If you live in West Texas, yeah, you're probably fine if you got water rights and somebody doesn't already have them. But if you live in East Texas, around the Houston area, down in Dallas, Fort Worth, Galveston, anywhere through that area through there, I probably would still drill my well, but I'd have the water tested. And then I'd put a filtering system on it.
Do you buy dog food or do you make your own? I don't own a dog.
We don't own a dog. We don't believe in having a dog. So
Danny had one.
I had one for 13 years. I had a dog that went everywhere with me. He slept with me. I mean, this dog was, it
was his baby.
It was a baby, and I had to put it down myself when it got ill.
And then we got Hank.
And Hank was a baby kangaroo, and
he was too hyper for us.
He was too hyper for old people, and when he got loose from us, he ran off and he just never come back.
Can y'all show the new property? We're going to show a little of it next week.
The new property is being shown on Patreon.
Yeah, we're going to show the cornfield.
Danny, have you seen the new Navy map, and is it real? The Navy map that you see online is not actually the real map. On Patreon, I have the last CIA map of what they changed this map monthly. Now you have to understand this map gets changed monthly. And I have the latest one that I had privy to have access to over on Patreon. I can't tell you which video it is, but I have it over there. But the new Navy map that you see online, that one was based off of a man's dream. So that's not the actual, really the map.
All right, Miss Laura said, I'm trying to start sweet potato slips that I got from the potatoes that she got from us, but they are a little soft because of the cold. Do you think they'll still sprout?
All I can do is tell you to put them in the dirt and keep them warm. Do not water them. Put them in the dirt, keep them warm, and do not put any water on them until you see slips coming through the ground.
And don't heavy water.
Don't heavy water them.
All right, Mr. Jimmy Crackhorn said, "Do you think martial law is coming to the U.S.?"
In some form or fashion, yes, I do believe there will be some form of martial law in the United States. Simply because there's two factions that's beginning to get ready to go to war in the United States on our own home soil, and I do believe that if that does come to fruition, then there will be some form of martial law invoked.
Okay, Danny, I am putting in fruit trees in the ground tomorrow. Should I fertilize them, and what should I use?
I would put a small amount of fertilizer around them. I would use time-release fertilizer. I'd go to Walmart or your Tractor Supply or one of you places like that, and I would get me a container of time-release fertilizer, and I'd sprinkle it all around the tree and when I put it in the ground, and that's all I would do for the first year. Just make sure you keep it watered.
Do you think the filtered water straws are good for the water that's coming into Texas from Ohio?
It depends. Filtered water straws take out only specific toxins. You need to read on the straw and see what it actually filters out of the water. If it's only bacteria, then no, it's not good enough. You need to read the chemicals that it says it can take out, and then you need to look and see what chemicals are being brought into your area and see whether or not it's feasible to use them.
Now, Jed said he went to a link that y'all advise, and my screen turned red. Is that normal? I don't know what link you went to.
I don't know what link you went to.
And
that's not normal.
That's not normal. Do you...
Danny, how close do you think we are to World War III? It's not how close we are. We're already in World War III. The public's just not being told. We're already there. We've been in it about a year now, and we're over. And in this country, we're just kept in the dark because they don't want to freak us out. But we're already in World War III.
Have you ever heard of the C40 cities, and do you think it can be done?
The
C40. I don't know what that is.
I've heard of the 15-minute cities. I haven't heard of anything called a C40 city.
Where will they dump the water in Texas?
It's close to, all I'm gonna be able to tell you is it's close to the Houston area, is what I've been told.
And they're also sending some somewhere else.
Well, to Detroit, into a low-income areas in Detroit, Michigan.
Do you know of a water event coming? Yes.
Yes, I know of a huge water event coming. I can't talk about it here, but I think in the near future you'll understand what I'm talking about.
They're saying the water in Texas is being processed at Deer Park.
Okay.
There's the word park again.
Yep.
That word park comes up a lot.
You're going to find out when you see major events taking place in the United States, the word park is mentioned in every instance. It's something about park. It will be a road, it will be a community, it will be a business, it will be something and have the name park involved in
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It really is. But let's see. They're saying Fort Myers, Florida is a 15-minute city. There's a lot of 15-minute
There's a lot of 15-minute cities. Actually, it's called an Agenda 21 city. This was done back in 1994 is when I first was involved in it, in the Agenda 21 cities that came online at that time. So yeah, it's been around for a while.
What do you think of the Regen and Def Fluid tractors?
I would not. I had a Regen tractor, and it stayed in the shop 6 months out of the first year I owned it. So no, I would not. That's the reason when I bought my Kubotas, I made sure I was 25 horsepower or less, because that will do what I need to do. And there's no Regen, there's no depth, there's no computers, there's none of that stuff on it. It's just plain diesel.
Okay.
Have you been told to stock up on water? Have you heard anything about that? We have not been told to stock up on water here. Of course, America's not going to tell you anyway. But it's always good to have a way to get extra water.
And to purify water.
And to be able to purify your water.
Now, these chemicals, will it purify them? I don't know. I'm not sure if anything's taken all that out of it.
I don't know.
So, you know, you're at your best with whatever you have. But I would have a way to purify water.
Have you heard they are selling all of our parks? All of our parks were sold under the Obama administration for the debt that we owed China. Every park in the United States was, I was told, was used as collateral for that debt. Mississippi is included in the C40. It's possible.
There was something I read that Mississippi is included in, and I forgot what it is. I get people sending me so much stuff. And yes, Mississippi was included in something. There were several states that were doing something, but I can't remember right off what it was.
I have a deep well on my property. The lady who grew up here says that it's salty. I would put a filtering system on it because I'm going to tell you what, fresh water is quickly going away and salt water is infusing underground into the freshwater thing. So I would definitely put a filtering system on it if I could.
Yeah. Do you think the water event will happen this year?
I think that a portion of the water event may happen this year. Now I say may because science is using the word allegedly that it will be this year, which means they're not 100% sure, but it's possible because there's a huge melting going on in the Antarctica that is causing giant pieces of ice to fall off into the ocean down there. And not only that, guys, there is actually an asteroid event that they're looking at happening possibly this year or next year, making impact with the Earth. And if it does, then yes, there will be rising water levels everywhere.
We have an Alexa Pure. They're asking about water filters. We have an Alexa Pure, the big water filter system. Then we have 2 Alexa Pure pitchers. We have different types of tablets that purify water. Do we have any of the straws?
Yes, we have straws.
I think we have some of the straws.
Yeah. We also have the little bottles of stuff too.
Yeah. We've ordered a variety of things to purify water, just in case.
Living in South Florida, should I be concerned about the water event? It depends on what your elevation is. The first water event, I was told, will be about 15 feet above sea level. So I don't have any kind of time frame on that. I was just told that 15 feet would be the first water event that would take place.
What do we do about ticks? What will we do with the new property to combat ticks?
Luckily, we don't have any ticks
We don't have any here, and so far we've walked the woods.
We have been
everywhere,
in those woods everywhere over there, and no tick
no
problems.
No ticks whatsoever. Not to say there won't be.
And if you do have ticks, guineas are the best solution for getting rid of ticks on a piece of property.
And our neighbor has them.
Our neighbor does have lots of guineas.
I mean,
yeah.
In the videos sometimes over there you might hear guineas in the background. And we've thought about getting some, especially over there since there's so much acreage. I think they could really enjoy it. Charcoal filters, that's another one that people are talking about.
I mean, you have to read on your filtering and just see what it says it will take out. I mean, that's the only thing that you do. I mean, we use our Alexa Pure over at the cabin all the time, have no problems with it. But do understand one thing now. Let me mention this to you. If you're using a water filtration system, please realize that it's taking all the minerals out of the water. You're not getting any benefits from the water whatsoever. It's like drinking distilled water. I mean, basically, it's filtering most everything out of the water.
And Alexa Pure is like a Berkey, yes.
Yeah, it's like a Berkey.
Let's see. People are putting up their prayer request.
Oh yeah, it is 8 o'clock, isn't it?
Prayers for baby sister. Oh, let me show this. We had seeds sent to us from So Right Seeds.
Yeah, we had a lot of seeds sent to us from So Right Seed Company.
And I've never, I don't think I've used any of their seeds
I don't
before.
think we've ever used any of their seeds.
But they sent me a variety, y'all. Look at this. Oh, I'm dropping some. I don't know how many packs are here, but I'd say 30
it's probably
to 40.
50.
All kinds of things.
Any kind of seeds you can imagine.
So Danny and I are going to go through these, and we will probably plant some to try the So Right seeds, and then we're going to give some away. Because there's things like snap peas that we don't use.
Yeah,
and we would like for people to have some. And then I have a lady that sent me some seeds. They're on the way for us to give away. So we're going to have a seed giveaway this week sometime. Not sure when and what we'll do. But if we do, I will not go under your comment and say you won something. That is not us. It looks like us, but it don't have our check mark to the side. If you don't see that check mark by Deep South, it ain't us. So we will be doing a seed giveaway, and I will be announcing the winner to the Grow Light probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
What else we got going on? Anything else?
I don't know. I've been at the property all week. I ain't even been home hardly. Let's see. All I do is come home and sleep here.
Basically,
that's all I've been doing. Well, I feed my animals and take care of them,
and head out.
And then I head out, and Wanda kind of tends to other stuff. But
trying to think. The greenhouses are doing good. We've got to plant some Cherokee yellow wax beans, but Danny said we'll wait until March. So that's down the road, and we don't seed start those. We put those in the ground in March. Are we putting any English peas in the ground? It's almost too late.
We
should have done that in January or end of 1st of February.
It just depends. We cannot send any seeds. My Crooked Little Homestead, we can't send seeds to Canada. They do not allow us to send seeds across the border.
There's some kind of regulation, and there's some states we're not supposed to send.
Yeah, we're not supposed to. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Even on our Etsy store, there's some states that you're not supposed to send seeds to, and I've not really checked to see who can and can't have it.
We don't really pay attention to that. Darlene says, does Redmond real salt replace minerals lost in filtering water? Yes, we use the Redmond salt. It has like 60 different minerals that your body needs. The Redmond salt is the one that we use.
Yeah. We have a praise report for BJ.
BJ.
Yes. Our friend BJ, we were asking for prayers for him. They thought a week and a half ago that he was given, I guess Lisa don't mind, she's told a lot of people this, that
he wasn't given very long to live.
2 months to live, stage 4 cancer, and then through a lot of prayer and stuff, the doctor called back this week and said they think it might be contained in one area, and they can possibly do surgery, and they found no more cancer all over his body. And so 2 weeks ago, they thought it was everywhere, and this week they're saying they don't see it. So that's a really good praise report.
Yeah.
Rhonda's daughter, somebody's sister with the virus. What's the difference between the Redmond salt and Himalayan salt?
The Redmond salt is mined out from under the earth, out in the western United States, and I believe it's
Redmond.
Utah, out in Utah, and Himalayan pink salt comes out of the Himalayan mountains. Now, as far as
both probably have minerals.
They probably both are loaded with minerals. We actually have both of them here. We have the pink Himalayan salt and we have the Redmond.
Yeah, I have both.
We actually use both of them, so I'm not going to say one's really any better than the other. It's just that we've been using more of the Redmond because we have a larger amount of it.
Yeah. All right.
Now just realize if you use a Redmond salt, you're not getting your iodine. That's one thing you need to realize.
Prayers for those that might be in a path of a water event, even a
Yeah.
hurricane, tornadoes,
not only that,
fires.
prayers for those in Ohio and those in Texas where they're sending the water down there to be purified, and then in Detroit where they're doing the same thing and the disposals up there. I mean, guys, this is a big event.
I mean, they let it come down the river for 2 weeks before they started doing anything.
Yeah.
So anybody downriver from Ohio, which is all of us, basically, we don't really get our water from the Mississippi River, I guess. But, anybody that does, that you've got the whole bottom half of the country.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, sea kelp is good for iodine. I do agree for that. But let's
Mary said she's driving I-20 just passed into Mississippi. Hey,
no,
you're about
you up
30
there,
miles from us.
No, she's a long way from us. She's up at Vicksburg.
I thought I-20's down on the coast.
That's I-10.
That's right. Never mind. You're a long ways from us.
Yeah, you're a long way from us.
About a day's drive.
Yeah.
Do you use pure cane sugar? Yes,
we do.
When I buy sugar, I make sure it says pure cane sugar on it.
Y'all working too hard. Take a break, Elisa said. Lisa, there's no time to take a break.
We went to the cabin last night.
We actually went to the cabin last night and spent last night at the cabin.
So we took a little
break, but the time is so short right now. If you take a break, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, we take a few little breaks here.
Everybody's needing prayer tonight. I'm sitting here reading them.
Yeah.
There's lots of prayer requests going by. The ones that I can read, there's some of them going by too fast.
Danny, I have a tip for after a while.
I'll give y'all something to think about here in a minute. But
all right, so do we want to go ahead and
let's go ahead and
do the prayer request?
Yeah, let's go ahead and
I
have
want to keep
prayer.
Christopher in prayers too, my grandson, because he will have surgery in a couple of 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
Father, we just come to you tonight. Father, we want to give you the praise for the reports we got on BJ. That's good. It's never good when you have cancer in your body, but to find out that it's contained and they might be able to get it all, that's good. That's good. We're going to praise you for it in the name of Christ, and we're just going to say, Lord, just work your miracles. Do what you do best, Father, because you're the great physician after all. I mean, it is you who created us and made us. And as David said, we're fearfully and wonderfully made. And Father, we just praise you that you're going to heal BJ. We're going to speak healing upon his body. And Lord, there's many others here tonight that's asked for prayer requests. Some having surgery coming up this here pretty shortly, and then others that's got physical issues, Father, and not only them, but some of their families and friends, and some prayer requests were made. Just for families and stuff, Lord. And I'm just going to pray tonight that across the board, Father, that you do what you do best. You heal people. You bring healing to people's bodies. And then, Father, for those that you don't bring healing to in this life, if they know you as their personal Savior, they get healing in the next life. I mean, it took me a long time to understand that the passing of my wife was literally a healing for her body, because she went home to be with you. She was healed, just not in the way that we thought she should be healed. So, Father, we have to have an understanding and discernment about what you do and how you do it. And Lord, I think about the condition of the things that's going on in Ohio right now, and then the water, the wastewater that's being transported to other places in the country. It's concerning to me that one of these trucks could have an accident and spill chemicals somewhere else. And I know, Lord, that this has all been done underhandedly. We know that. And I just pray. I know that you told me several years ago that your hand had been lifted off this nation, and that there was nothing but wickedness going to happen from this point forward, but that you were going to protect your people who live here, but the nation as a whole would just go down the tube. And Father, I'm witnessing it on a daily basis. I see it over and over and over, and I'm just asking that you please keep your word, which I know you will, and take care of your children, Father, and do the best job that can be done with helping us to be able to be prepared for the unseen days that lies ahead of us now. We love you, we appreciate you, and thank you for everything you do for us on a daily basis. We ask these things in Christ's name. Amen. Okay.
Jimmy Crackcorn said, have you heard of Mike from around the world, and do you think he is correct in his views?
Yes, I actually, somebody asked here a while back about, was there anyone that they could go look at online that I felt like was, was a good person to listen to? And I think I told them Ben Banoon, Mike from around the world,
which is COT, Council of Time.
COT, Council of Time. I can't remember all of them. Steve Quayle. Some of these other guys that are ex-CIA agents, or at least some of them are still CIA agents, that are actually involved in different elements of the government and they get inside information that they're allowed to pass on. I mean, they can't tell you everything,
but they can give you hints.
They can give you hints.
And they can give you some substance.
If I was going to listen to anybody, I would say that, Mike has had some issues in the past, and he's made that right as far as I know now. I don't know a lot about him, to be honest with you. But I do know that what I've heard that people have said about him has always been pretty accurate, because he does still have access, as far as I know, to some things behind the scenes.
Okay, I forgot. We had company yesterday.
We did have company yesterday. We had some fantastic company yesterday.
Y'all, I had never heard...
Now, I wasn't here at the beginning of it.
You caught the tail end.
I come home for lunch, and for the rest of the evening, actually, because I'd come home for lunch, and they were here when I got here.
So Tracy and Jean from Just Dig It Farms, Tracy had contacted me around Christmas and asked could she come visit and interview me. And she's doing a series on Just Dig It Farms called In Her Boots, and where she talks to different women and the role they play on their homestead. And so I told her yes, and so yesterday was the day that she and Jean came. They got here around 9:30 yesterday morning. We had a great time touring Deep South, and Danny got here just as we were finishing up the tour.
Yeah.
And so Tracy and I went and they had lunch with us, and then Tracy and I went and did her interview. I turned around and interviewed her for my Conversation of Friends, where I talked to different women for Crazy Days. So my interview with Tracy would go up on Crazy Days probably Monday. And then I'm not sure when she'll put hers up, but she said it may be a two-part thing when she gets through. But yeah, y'all check out Just Dig It Farms. Great Christian lady. Loved having her and Jean here yesterday. It was a blessing.
Yeah. Okay.
Tip.
Tip. Everybody's wanting a tip. Well, let's see. What can we do for a tip tonight that we can not get in trouble? That's not get in YouTube trouble. Let's put it that way.
There's a lot of our people we know getting in YouTube trouble.
Yeah, we have lots of...
They're having to do separate channels.
Yeah.
They're shutting them down for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because of something.
Something they've said, not necessarily recent. It could be in the past.
They can go back. We had one video, an older video, pulled down off of our channel. Yeah,
we've already had one of ours pulled, yeah.
So it is coming, guys, but that's not your tip.
That's not my tip. Guys, the tip for tonight is do not take sides. Because I want you to pay attention. Now, I don't watch the news, but I know a lot of y'all probably do. I don't watch it because it's all propaganda. None of it's accurate. I mean, absolutely none of it. But pay attention to what you're seeing, and do not believe the sides, because I'm trying to word this where I won't get in trouble. Just be cautious about who you think you really are standing for, because I've got news for you. There's some things fixing to be shown here in the very near future that is going to blow your socks off about what you believed about certain people.
And what you believe about certain places and certain things, and your faith is going to be just rocked.
It's going to rock. It's going to shatter your faith. I'm going to tell you.
People like us that think, you know, we have strong faith. It's going to take a lot to get through some things.
Yes.
And so you guys got to get a backbone. You got to know: are you for the Father? Are you for the world? You're gonna have to make that.
I mean,
stand.
Look at it like this. Lots of people are sending us links, videos, and stuff like that about different events that's taking place in the world. And they're saying, Danny, the horsemen have been released. You know, all the horsemen have been released. They're releasing or at least 4 of them, I've been told, by different people sending us messages that different horsemen have been released. The black horse, the red horse, the white horse, the pale horse. All these things have been released. And guys, I understand that. You can send me all the links you want. But the bottom line is this. It's Christ who's releasing these horses. And he's not going to do anything to you that is going to hurt you. You have to understand. Now, are we going to have to suffer through some of these things? Yes. Because the scripture says, precious in the eyes of the Lord is the suffering of his saints. I mean, because suffering purges us. It brings out the best in us. And some people in their life, they say, well, I don't know why I keep having to go through the same thing over and over and over. And that's because you're not getting something that God's trying to teach you. Whenever you actually learn what he's trying to teach you, then it won't happen anymore. I mean, he's going to allow it to keep going until you finally figure it out.
Brother Donnie's saying this is Romans 1, living society abandoned by God and their sinfulness.
Brother Donnie, Romans 1 is exactly where we're living at. I mean, the people have been turned over to a reprobate mind. They don't know good from evil. They're doing the things that are an abomination before God. Women have changed the natural use of their bodies. Men have changed the natural use of their bodies. Working that which is unseemly, it talks about. I mean, all these kind of things is going on. And Brother Donnie's exactly right. We're living Romans chapter 1. If you don't believe me, go read it and look at what's going on in America. And it's just like Romans chapter 1 is describing America. And if you don't believe that, go read Deuteronomy chapter 28, where it talks about the blessings of obedience. And when you get to the end of the blessings of obedience, which covers only just a few verses, keep reading. Because when you get down below that, you find the curses for disobedience, finishes out the rest of the chapters. I mean, it's just dozens of verses talking about what God will do to the nation that rebels against him and turns its back on him, and literally the punishments that will come upon that nation, and you will see everything that's happening to America. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I mean, I get it that people have a reprobate mind. And a reprobate mind, you know what that means? That means that you don't have the ability to discern right from wrong. Lots of people sit back and will argue you to their grave that they're right, and they've got a reprobate mind and they can't see it. Yeah, because they got a blinders on. It's been taken from them. God has took their ability to be able to know right from wrong away from them, and they don't understand.
And you can't change their mind.
You're not going to change your mind. That's the reason the Bible says, do not cast your pearls before swine. Literally, you can argue with them all day long. Don't waste your time. Move on to someone. I won't even pray for them.
You can pray.
You can pray for them. It's not going to do any good, but you can pray for them. Move on to someone that you can literally benefit and help. Someone who the Spirit is still working with. If the Spirit has been removed from someone, you can talk to them till you're blue in the face. Mm-hmm. It ain't going to do no good whatsoever.
And it's going to upset you.
Huh?
It's going to upset you.
Yeah, it's going to upset you because you keep trying. I talked to a man on his deathbed, and he was sitting there. I told him, I said, sir, don't you want to come to know the Lord as your personal Savior? And he said, I'd love to, Brother Danny. I'd love to. I said, well, then just accept him. He said, I'm sorry, I can't. I made a deal with God when I was in my 20s. If he'd leave me alone, I'd leave him alone. And you know what? He's kept his word. And when I want to find him now, I can't find him. So, guys, be careful what you ask for, because it will come to pass.
Yep.
The Bible says, vow not a vow and defer not to pay it, because you know why? You'll make God angry. You don't want to make God angry. If you vow something, you better make sure you fulfill it. That's for sure. And I could have got the Deuteronomy thing wrong. It may have been in the 30s. I don't remember. 28, Deuteronomy 30, 31, somewhere through there. It could have been one of those, but I'm sitting here thinking back in my mind as I'm talking to you. It could have been chapter 30 or 31. But you know, you can't fix some people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if they've been turned over to a reprobate mind, like the scripture says, you can't fix that. God himself is the only one who can fix that. You can't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I can get off on a rant. I have to be careful.
All right, so that was your
thing.
You're not answering any more questions. We're done. Just
be careful who you side up with, because remember, people go, well, I'm on the left side, or I'm a left winger, or I'm a right winger. You know, I'm a conservative. I'm a liberal. Look, guys, the same wings on all the wings on the same bird. You know what I'm saying? Keep your eyes on the Father.
They said chapter 28 was right.
Oh, was it right? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was, but I
started
second guessing myself after I got to thinking here. But keep your eyes on the Father. Test everything through Christ. No matter what comes your way, test it through Christ. If it doesn't meet the test, cast it out to the side. Do what the Bible says. Think on certain things. Think on those things which are true, which are pure, which are just, which are right. Think on those things, guys, and you won't go wrong.
Miss Donna, I done lost where it was at, but she said we can only plant the seeds.
Yes, you can't make it grow. You can plant them and you can water them, but you have no control after that.
That's true. So thank you guys for being here tonight, and hopefully.
I don't know what you're doing here. You're hitting stuff you're not supposed to be hitting.
I know. I'm working on it.
You got to go over here first, and you're going off up here, down here, and all over there.
I'm working on it, but okay. I'm talking. I'm like you. I'm talking while I'm working. We don't do well talking. Danny and I usually work in silence, because when we start talking, we get sidetracked.
Yeah. Anyway, I can get wound up when it comes to certain things, but
we gotta go.
It's been a long day. It's been a long day. We got to go here, but I'm going to get myself in trouble. Anyway, yep. Love you guys. Thank y'all for coming over here, spending time with us. Hit that thumbs up button if you will. It puts us into the algorithm. YouTube is shadow banned us because I speak the truth. They don't want me to talk about the truth, and they shadow ban us. We haven't gained any subscribers in so long, according to them.
It's been almost 6-8 months.
6 or 8 months. Our subscriber count hadn't changed.
It hardly ever goes up in a month.
And they've shadow banned us. Lots of people go, well, I found out I was unsubscribed from y'all. And
lots of people.
Lots of people are. And they don't like it when you tell the truth. And all you got to do is go back, look at everything I've ever told you guys, and tell me if any of it has not happened. I'm telling you.
Or it's fixing to.
It's fixing to happen, or it has happened. Anyway, right. I love you guys. Thank y'all for being in here with us tonight. Y'all are really the reason why we do this every Saturday night, and we just love spending time with you guys. So have a blessed night, and we'll see y'all hopefully the next video. Thank you from Deep South Homestead.